losing my husband for any woman too. I won't do it. Or because he cheated. Maybe the fault is coming from me. Maybe my husband has got history from his background. We need to deal with this thing very carefully. People should not just sit there and get angry and react because they have pains. You have pains doesn't mean you should channel the pain to become a revenge on somebody. No. If the man made you said, my dear, I wanted to talk to you. If the men make mistakes, if they don't know where they are coming from, you are his helpmate. Women should get this right. We are not here. I'm a Christian. I'm not here to change it. The biblical truth is that the Lord brought the women to be helpmates to the men. So if you help a man, there's nothing wrong with it. If he wants to cheat on you, his punishment, he can't run away from it. But my issue is that, so he cheated on you today, you divorce. You go and meet another man. Is that person an angel? The same person can also do the same thing. So let's get solutions on what to do to help those men that cheat.
And then they told us what it means to be a woman. How to speak, how to shrink, how to sacrifice, how to endure. But what if we unlearned it all? Welcome to Womanhood Unbound. I'm Moira, and here we challenge the script. We go beyond the conditioning, beyond the expectations, to redefine womanhood on our terms. Your truths, your voice, your choices, your life. This is where we question and unlearn. Here, we rewrite the rules, one conversation at a time. So let me get this straight. When she stays in a painful marriage, it's divine order. But when she finally leaves, it's still divine order? That's how you know it's always been a scam. Charlotte Oruro has spent years telling women that suffering is holy, endurance is proof of faith, and that women who reject mistreatment are disobedient to God. She taught that leaving a marriage meant you were failing as a helpmate, that resistance was the devil's influence. But when it was her turn to endure, suddenly the endurance expired. Miraculously, she's still righteous, still walking in divine order. Only now she gets to be free, while the women that she conditioned, are still bound. And here's the thing, her husband is the one who filed for the divorce. She was clearly willing to continue manipulating women into staying in unhappy marriages whilst unhappy herself. See, this is what we mean when we say women in ministry and are married are miserable, because clearly misery loves company. They keep recruiting other women into the frying pan until their pain and misery is exposed. It kind of reminds me of Juanita Bynum preaching on marriage, submission, and catering to her husband, only for their reality to burst into national headlines when her husband Weeks was arrested for attacking his estranged wife in a parking lot in Atlanta's Renaissance Concourse Hotel.
Love is when you walk through those hard times together. Love is when you feel like giving up, but say, baby, we're going to hold on. Come on, somebody. Love is when you're being attacked by the enemy and you see the worst in each other and still make the decision, I'm staying with you. See, some of y'all sitting there looking at me because the first thing you want to do is run to the door. I'm getting a divorce. I mean, sit down. You ain't going to never have no marriage.
These women don't want to accept the lie that was sold to them. And instead of sitting in their embarrassment and fear, they would rather not look stupid and drag you into the cesspit of godly men who are vipers. And while you may say, forgive them, no. And we also cannot forget the fact that they never apologized to these women that they lured and bound into marriage because of their deceitful teachings. In those moments, they chose to hold on to their celebrity status and be revered with no regard for another woman's humanity and safety. And this is exactly how patriarchal religious systems use women against each other. A man telling women to suffer, that's standard. But a woman makes it palatable. A woman makes oppression feel like virtue. She packaged suffering to feel like a calling. And that's why a woman like Charlotte and pastors like her are so valuable to patriarchy. They do the work that men cannot do alone. So, let's try this from a perspective that makes your womanhood unbound. If a system is only righteous when you suffer, who's the system for? And why is it always someone whose societal institutional status who is higher than yours is always telling you what's righteous and what's not? Never about just being a decent human being. It's always about control. But watch this. These women finally walk away and they are not held to the same shame and blame that they imposed on other women within their religious spaces. There's always a reason that their suffering is greater, but yours is just service to your man, service to God. And that's how the scam works. It's never about the suffering itself, it's about who is required to endure it. And that is why Womanhood Unbound exists. Too many women have been manipulated into believing that suffering is proof of faith, when all it's really been is proof of patriarchy's boot on our necks. If leaving was the best and safest thing for these women, then leaving is the best and safest thing for you. The only difference, these women's suffering and endurance has now ended, but yours is still going on. I'll leave you with this question. How many times have women been told to endure what men would never tolerate? Let me know in the comments. Like and follow for more.